Hey, how's everybody doing? This is George with Truck Driver Nation. What I want to do is I want to go over real quick. This is one of the invoices that I just submitted not long ago. And, people are asking me, well, invoice, invoice, invoice. I don't think people are quite understanding what I mean when I say invoices. There's a difference between doing your rate cons and then getting your bill of lading once they're signed, which becomes your proof of delivery, and then obviously invoicing the carrier. Now, inside this right here, I'm going to show you real quick. Inside your textbook, I literally brought it up. It's going to be under your bonus content. I pulled it up to the top, so hopefully, which, it gets mixed in here because it's all bonus content. But inside this right here, um, you got the first video is obviously to move this around a little bit. Sorry about that. But anyways, it's how to create and submit an invoice as a freight dispatch service. Now, so the first video is going to literally walk you through the whole thing about how to submit it. When you come down here to the back end, because these are not chapters. This is all additional content that I put into the textbook so people can follow through any concept that you have or anything that you need to understand. You've got access to this. So right here, you got three different videos. This boy right here, he was doing hot shot. So he goes over the rate confirmations, the bills of lading, and the invoicing process. So make sure you watch these before you even attempt to build a whatever type of template that you're going to want to build. Now, I can give you a template. That's not a problem, but it does you no good if you don't know obviously how to work the software. So if you're doing it, I build mine in Excel. I build usually when I need one for something special, I just go in and edit the ones I have. It doesn't take much to move the cells around and to build it. Now, if you want to go out and buy some fancy software, go right ahead. I only dispatch 7 trucks. I'm not doing all that. The guys that I deal with, they all know who I am. I mean, I deal with them, regular basis. If it's another driver comes in, I just simply explain to them with quickness, what we're doing and how I'm billing him because for me, I send out my invoices on Sundays because the reason I send them out because anything that comes in that I billed on Friday or that has come through on the weekend because it delivered, let's say on Saturday, because most of the time everybody's going to be shut down on Sundays and you're not going to get another load anyways, probably till Monday unless I pre-booked you somehow to pick up something on the weekend. But otherwise, you're going to be either getting rid of it on Saturday or getting rid of it on Monday morning. So what I do, anything if it does actually just unload on Monday, well, that's just bad luck. It doesn't invoice until the following week, unless I get it early enough. Let's say for whatever reason I didn't invoice for Sunday, and I decided to just wait till Monday till he gave me the bill of lading. Because I'm obviously for some of these guys, I send it into their factoring service. And but anyways, let's go over how I set um my invoicing up, my invoice that I send to the drivers, and this way you can have some kind of a template to understand what you need to do. Now make sure you go into the book, and it's got everything right here. There's nothing more to invoicing than this. But when I build my invoices, I just put my regular logo up here, and then I put my address. And then I put like this is going to be truck 167. This boy, I load him. He's out of Burbank, California. And actually, this one right here, the reason I use it, it made it easier because he's coming off of home time. And anyways, my invoice number changes every week depending on what it is. I don't really run off a lot of invoice numbers. I literally make them up based on who they are, whether it's going to be off a bill of lading, because it depends on when I started them. Because, some of the guys I've been dispatching for some time. So they're the same guys I deal with. Now, if I don't end up dispatching for them full time, I still dispatch for them on a part-time basis, but I've got 7 full-time drivers, and then I got, as I call them, passive loads. They'll call me and say, "Hey, you got something for me?" Because they know I got certain things out of certain regions, and I'll say, "Yeah, sure." I was like, "Here, take this one right here if they have something available." And then I'll do an invoice for them for that particular week. But on the average week, unless somebody shuts down for a whole week, I usually do have 7 different invoices because I have 7 different trucks, and every one of my trucks have their own MC number that I'm dispatching off of. So, anyways, Put your information here. This is going to be your business information. His truck is 167. He numbered his truck 27. Everybody does their own numbering system. And on this guy, he runs out of California. He runs a dry van. Now, it says he's coming out of Burbank, California. Obviously, I get his first load out of usually Los Angeles and stuff like that. So I marked out all this information that protects his privacy, and I don't get all fancy on this. It's literally just has my sales, okay? And like for example, this in here came from Los Angeles and it ran back over to Chicago, which is, that was a weird one because it was right at 2,000 miles. Usually they don't go 2,000 miles. Might be like 1,800 and something, 1,900 and something miles, and this one paid 210 per mile, and that one it ended up being $4,200. Now, this guy actually did run harder than normally what I normally see him run. I guess he just had it was energetic because he was coming from off of being home time. But around 3,200, 3,500 is normally what I see. So he was just running a little bit harder than what he normally does. Now, unless there's anything, we'll go one by one. Let me slow down. So right here, this is going to be the load number, and I just pulled the bill of lading number off of it. That's it. Not my load confirmation number. I make sure whatever number's on my bill of lading because that's what's going to go. It should be your load confirmation number or your rate con and your bill of lading, which is your point proof of delivery. Make sure the numbers are the same. They should be, right? But this is the number I pull off, and either I shorten it up just because they know what it is too, and it sends me punching every number in there. And I just put like sometimes the last six or whatever it is, sometimes I put the whole number in it. It just depends on you. Then obviously I put kind of what commodity it was. I don't feel like sitting there doing this all day long because the load number is controlling where my bill of lading's at. So I'll just put in consumer goods or water or whatever I know, remember what it was, because I try to keep this up to date. Because remember, this is almost like my running tab. Um, now each bill that I do, I can invoice them off of each one because I have the records. Okay, if they don't send me the records or whatever it is, then I don't do it, but I have it in their file for that given week. So there's no sense of me doing each bill because I only do them once a week. Okay, it's just no sense. And if I can't trust them more than that, then we definitely have a problem because it's going into their factoring service, like for this guy. But anyways, it went from Los Angeles to Chicago. That was 2,210. Gave it 4,200. Then I had Chicago to Dallas. That was 17,656 95 cents. However, that figures up, but I always throw that cents in there so it's correct. Then I had Fort Worth back over to Atlanta, and that ended his week on this one. And his total came out to be 7,765.95. Now, if I have any detentions or anything, when I put additional charges, put my notes in for each one. So every one of these, no matter what it is, I make sure I have the load number by what it had to do with. I know it's not particularly the whatever, but I'm not a big carrier, right? I just keep mine simple. So if they need me to itemize it, then we can go back and pull the actual bills for the whole trip with no problem. But I just put all the data in here. I just take the load number and I put it beside it. So if I had a detention on, let's say K245, whatever bill that was, it was just consumer goods. But I can put that beside the detention, and then obviously I can put, obviously what how much he made for it. And I literally just put it literally just right here beside it. I don't make it all like stretch it all the way over here to the right. I just literally put what it was, and I'll put notes in about that one. And I might have a bunch of different notes in mine, all based on every little trip. Because look, it's only 3 trips on there. So I mean, how damn hard is it to decipher what you got? So it's not a lot of problems. But now detention, layover, lumper fees, if that's what it is, I don't charge them a percentage of that. That's bull crap, okay? Now, when they're invoicing the overall like when I'm sending the invoice back to the broker, I make sure that he understands, look, dude, I called you, we got an agreement that you're paying for the lumper fees. And so that's understood the lumper fees come off of them, layover, etc. Excuse me. The due date is going to be when the bills are due. I usually don't use that much because these guys are all I just do on the week. I just leave it in my template. because I know, or the invoice, because I know that sometimes I might have one truck, right? And I'll just put in there what the due date is. But as we go down, you'll see how I fill that in. But and then notes, whatever notes it might be, is just whatever you figure might be important to them to make sure they get a clear picture of what's going on. Now, out of this guy here, I charge 8%. Okay. Usually I charge 10%, but um, he was one of my first guys. And so I was a little reluctant. And so I just did 8% with him. So for like this gentleman here, I make $621.28 off him for the week. Um, and that's the whole thing about it. That's the reason I'm trying to tell y'all people that if you do your own dispatch service, you do a lot better. You can do by load if you want to, but let's say if I did 150, so that's 450 bucks. So I end up doing better by just doing a percentage. And it's not that I'm trying to screw them. It's just, oh my God, I'm sorry, y'all. Just excuse me. I didn't intentionally, I did this. This is a last minute video because somebody was driving me crazy and I decided to do it real quick. But the whole thing behind this is that the 621 obviously puts me where I'm making better revenue on this given trip. And it's over every trip, because it depends on what I'm getting. I know that I'm getting at least $6,000 on a dry van. If I can't get that, then I'm not going to probably load that truck. It's just I can get a step deck or, because I got lots of leads because I'm a recruiter. So, and like I tell them, if you don't want to go with me and you don't want to keep your truck full, I mean, look, the guy did pretty good. So if you don't want to deal with me, I get it. Don't mess with me. Yeah, I'm sure there's somebody else that can do better. But anyways, at 621, that's what he owes me. All the rest of it, I could care less. So if he wants to figure out what his amount is and all that, I'm not there to do. For this guy, I just do some of these people, I just do a flat. Okay. I don't do all the Nick Nanny stuff and all that babysitting stuff. I don't really want to do that. He knows he's got all his bills and everything is checked and balanced. He's got it in this packet when I send it to him that if I have whatever, because like for owner operators, they mainly keep their own bills, but whatever paperwork I have on him, then I just send it to him. And some of them don't even care if I even send it to them at all. I still make a digital packet up and I send it to them. If they needed it in the year, just let me know. I'll bundle it all up and send it all to you for your taxes or however you want to do it. So everybody's different. Some people are really anal retentive. I don't really like dealing with those people because yes, it's serious, but we got all the records. Don't make everything so difficult. I'm fighting an uphill battle every week. I mean, my word, and people trust me because I'm not going to sit here and screw you over because this is what I do for a living. But just keep it simple. And at the bottom, I put all payments are invoiced and automatically transferred to Truck Driver Nation. So, and so they're sent to actually to my bank account. They have all the route numbers, but I do direct draws. I don't do one where I'm invoicing you and then you pay me. It's you either I get paid directly off of, let's say, a credit card because I've sent you the invoice, or I actually have where I can work it with the factoring company, depending on who it is. We had to set them up that the factoring company automatically sends me the percentage of whatever I'm supposed to get off the bill, proof of delivery, and the load confirmation. When I send it in, then as soon as they clear it with them, they send me my percentage. Not all of them would do that, but I was lucky I had a few that would do that for me. But now look, I want to get paid immediately because I'm not here playing games. I will not play games with nobody. But if you're late, it's going to be a $50 charge. That's after I've waited 7 days. I mean, after 10 days, I'm sorry. But there's a $10 charge every single day I don't get paid. And I'm not going to collect it too because I did the work. I don't want to sit around and do this, and neither does anybody else. We do this because this is what we do for a living. Ain't nobody in love with their job. If they tell you they're in love with their job, there's something mentally wrong with them. This is what we do because this is what the field we ended up being in, and so this is the job that we do. So I either get paid or you start getting fined, and I will take it to court. I'm not going to play games with nobody. I just soon not even talk no noise with you. I got all the paperwork. I got all the documentation. You're not going to win. You're going to declare bankruptcy really over this because you're going to get me for this much money in the essence of everything. But in my contracts, you're responsible for all the fees and stuff when it comes to going to court, and I make that strictly clear. I'm not going to court because I want to. If I'm going to court, the whole thing, you drug me there. You're going to be responsible for it. But anyways, I send all my invoices on Sunday. So they do it immediately. They must be cleared in the aspect that they're not cleared in that thing that they've got to be cleared by Friday or because I'm not going to do no more loads for you. Late payments may incur a fee, which absolutely they will. It's in the contract about what the fee ends up being, but you're going to get actually, if you're not cleared immediately, it's going to be a $50 charge. Plus every 10, after 10 days that I haven't got paid, but I need to get paid by Friday. I mean, I know it contradicts each other a little bit, but I had to make some steps of where I needed to put it at. So overall, I need to get paid within 10 days. But yeah, I should be getting paid by Friday. But the thing is, I don't really have no problem unless somebody has a real major breakdown and I know they're sincere and I've seen what's going on. Um, then, I'll give them a little bit more time to pay. But because I'm not going to be loading them out anyways because they're broke down. Um, but they know that you got to get me paid before I'll dispatch any more loads. It's not them personally. It's just business because I can get other people that want me to dispatch for them because I'm a recruiter, so I have all these leads. So it doesn't bother me a bit. And it's nothing personal. And if you get it straightened out, and you get me paid up, then I'll dispatch you again. Not a problem. It's just business. Anybody takes it personal, I don't know because I don't try to make it personal. It's not like that for me. But anyways, this is the invoice that I built, and it's just really simple. This is going to be this is strictly. This is not each individual load. Each individual load's in a totally different file. So make sure you watch those videos so you understand exactly what you're going to do when you're invoicing. And what I'll do is I will now remember. I want to show you something. Let's say that I'm doing, let's say for example, 621. Okay, let's just even put it at 600. So, you got to see how good you're doing. So for this week, and I know you can do the math in your head. I'm getting it, but I'm doing it on the thing just so you see it. But if I do this for that many trucks in a week, I made $4,200. Okay, and I've only got two trucks that are dry van. The rest of them are flatbed step deck, and so I make a lot more than this because my trucks, all seven of my trucks are not dry van. So this is actually more than this, but you have to do the dispatch service yourself. Okay. And if you want to know, because remember, if you're doing business with me, I'm helping you do this. So you're making this. And then, so just remember, whatever ends up being, for example, I'm only getting 2%. So you're only doing it for 2 years. So after 2 years, you're doing your own thing. If you want to continue to do business with me and me to help you build your business, not a problem. I'll still continue, or we do another contract, and I continue to get the 2%. But outside that, rest of it's all on you. You know what I mean? I mean, I help you where you need me. You tell me what you need, and I will get it to you or show you how to get it. And of course, you get more wiser and all that good stuff. But like, virtual assistants, if you need the girls to help you, the girls are cheap. Like right now, I've got a recruiting service that we paid them because we just got him set up. And he's paying that girl $175 every 2 weeks. And she just works all the leads, getting the drivers for his particular trucking company. And so that's really cheap for him. And the girl appreciates it because versus their economy, and she lives what is called as a province. So basically way out in the country. Um, that's good money for her. I know this sounds crazy, but it is. I mean, I get it. But anyways, this is how I set my invoices up. If you have any questions or anything, let me know and I can help you out. Um, but make sure that when you're doing paperwork, make sure that all your paperwork reflects each other correctly. Okay. I've seen some people and I'll go through their paperwork because that's what you pay me to do. And so I'll go through it and I'll look at it and it's not consistent. You got to have something that's fluent enough that I understand what you mean through the whole thing of me doing business with you. Because if you go before a court, let's say if you, not saying that this is all court stuff, but I'm just saying, if I was to go before court, what does my business profile um, uh, reflect when it comes to what the judge, he should be able to look at it and he should be able to tell exactly what the intentions are and then everything's clear. Because if he can't tell, how could he expect the person to tell that, I'm having to go there to court for? So make sure that it reflects itself correctly through the whole aspect, your contracts versus your invoices or invoicing methods and everything. that it's got one consistent flow to it. And it's only a one-time setup because all you're doing is repeating the same thing with every person. I don't make nothing no different. The only thing that I adjust when I'm doing this is my percentage. So what percent can I actually generate from you dispatching for you? One, I look at a lot of things. I look if they're even an asshole. If they're real problematic, I may or may not be easier. I'm like, dude, it's going to take 10% for me. We want to deal with you. And sometimes that's not even worth it. But it also depends on how many trucks they have, what kind of trailer they have, where they're positioned at in the United States. If I got somebody coming out of South Florida, that's a problem because they ain't getting paid nothing coming out of there if that's where their home time's at. So, but anyways, if you have any questions or anything on this, I hope this helped you out. But just get a hold of me. Everything's in the website. You can get a hold of me through there, obviously truckdrivernation.com. But I hope this helped you out. But anyways, I appreciate everybody. I appreciate your time, and I hope you do well. And let's keep moving it forward.